we're back on the small scale group build, and we're working on the interior right now. So I'm just going to give you a little update on where I'm at with the interior and show you what I've been doing. Now we have the interior tub fully painted, and we also have carpeting applied. Now that carpeting is done with embossing powder. This is what I use to give myself a nice deep black carpet, and that's applied using some Mod Podge. I've shown the entire procedure on some of my other videos, so you can go back and check that out. Shows you exactly how to apply it and how to get it to stick in there, and it gives you a pretty convincing looking carpet. As you can see, I have the carpet in the load compartment, going over the wheel wells, between the seats there, on the floor, on the door panels, which is breaking up all of the red and giving us a nice two-tone red and black interior. Now, another part that is done, we have the dashboard done. Here we see we have a bit of shadowing done to highlight the vents, the recessed areas in the back in the dashboard. Here we have our instruments and lenses. Now the lenses I make by using Bondic, which is a clear adhesive that's UV activated. This is the Bondic here. Let me see if I can show you the, oh, there it is. It's only right in front of me. This is the UV activated resin, I guess is what you'd call it. And it's totally clear when it dries. So all I do is put a drop of it in here, make sure that it settles in nicely and levels out nicely inside the gauge. Then hit it with the UV light, and that hardens it. And when we're done, we have a crystal clear glass over the gauges. It works really, really well. I've used it in quite a few of my builds, and there is a tutorial on it on one of my other builds. I think the Fiero Red Blue Gray build. I did a tutorial on exactly how to apply this. Didn't get a chance to do all of that for the small scale build, but if you go back and look at some of my other videos, which you really should, because I think they're really cool, you know, even though I'm a little biased, you can see exactly how I do all of this. But just want you to guys know what I'm using, so if you want to try it yourselves, you'll know exactly what to get. Now, we also have our steering wheel painted. Going for a red leather look to the steering wheel. We have our spokes painted, the horn button painted, steering column painted, so that's going to look good in there. We have our armrests and our seats. Now, one of the curious things about the seats is that the seats have no seat belts on the front seats, but if you look at the rear seats here, the seat belts are molded in. Nice job they did with molding that in also. You can have the buckle and everything there. I painted them with the chrome just to make them stand out a little bit, and I think it works really nicely. So I'm toying with the idea of making seat belts for this, even at its small size. I don't really know if it's worth it, but I'm toying with the idea. So that's where we are with the interior. Now let me show you where I'm at with the chassis. We have the chassis painted up. It's a really high gloss deep blue, which is this candy blue, and I really think it gave me what I was looking for there. Lay it on in multiple layers to get a nice dark color on the underside, which I want to contrast the body color, which I'm hoping will be somewhat similar to what's in the front here. You can see that's a little bit lighter. So still have to do a bit of detail painting on the engine and the transmission. Here we have the exhaust is painted up, just mocked in there just to see how everything's going to sit. And we still have to do a bit of detail painting on the trunk and the fuel tank. So we've got still quite a bit of work to do, but for the most part you can see the subframes are painted in black. I have to go over that again. I may just have that with a little bit of semi-gloss to dull that down a little bit, 'cause it's a little shinier than I hoped. But, I mean, this is a chrome build, so we might just leave it that way. So I think it's looking pretty cool the way it is. And hopefully the body will turn out even half as good as this did. So now we're going to go ahead and assemble our interior while we think about what we're going to do with the seat belts here. Alright, one of the interesting quirks of this kit is that even though it is incredibly similar to the larger scale Revell kit, this small 1/32 scale actually has armrests, while the Revell kit did not. I had to make the armrests for the Revell kit. And now that I see what these armrests look like, I think that these look better than the ones I made. Unfortunately, with the Revell kit, there's not enough room to really give you the width of the armrest and still have the seat fit. So my armrests in the Revell kit are a little bit thinner, but I'm happy that at least I have some now, which I didn't have before. Those are my armrests there. You can see it's a very tight fit with the seat. So there we go. Armrests are installed. Let's get back to assembly. Here we're going to see the assembly process. You can see here how the interior tub bows out a little bit further than the dashboard itself. So when you glue it in, you got to make sure that you give it a little time to set after you apply the glue so that it sits flush with the dash. I don't know if this is going to affect it going into the body, but better safe than sorry. So as you can see here, I've got it pretty much flush with the dash, so it shouldn't give me any trouble going together. So now we're just going to have to put this in, give it a little flex in till we're flush, and then apply our Tamiya cement. Alright, now we have our whole interior tub put together. And now we just have to think about these seats and what we're going to do as far as seat belts go. So let me give that a little thought. And then we'll be back with the rest of this update. Alright guys, I decided that I'm just going to go ahead and waste more time and make seat belts for this 1/32 scale Camaro. So what I did, I'll show you exactly what I used to make these seat belts, as it's the only thing I could find that would look scale correct. So I'll go over that right now. First thing I did was took some of the Tamiya tape, and I found that this 1mm tape, 1mm wide tape, is almost a perfect match for the seat belts that they have engraved into the rear seats here. So it's a very simple process. I lay the tape on a piece of styrene. Let's just move everything over here, make a little room. Doesn't matter how big your table is, you always end up working in a spot that's just a couple of inches wide. And I use a Tamiya tape to make the seat belt. Basically just take a Sharpie, go over the Tamiya tape with the Sharpie, get it really nice and black. And it's a two-piece seat belt, because the seat belts in the Camaros third-gen Camaros and Firebirds were 3-point seatbelts, which means that they go across the lap and the shoulder and anchor in one. Well, you guys know what that means. What am I bothering to explain that to you guys? So what I did was I took the long section of tape, and this is where I'm going to lay the shoulder belt portion of the seat belt. Basically, I'll just take it and we're going to wrap it around the bottom of the seat here, where we would think that approximately the seat belt buckle is going to sit. Then we take the other side and we just wrap it right up against the top of the seat. We'll go right here. And that gives us our shoulder belt right there. Now we're going to take the second piece and basically do the exact same thing, except we're going to do that for the lap belt. So we're going to overlay our shoulder belt because it has to look like they're both connecting in the same place. So they both have to join together where the seatbelt buckle would be. And then we're going to bring it over and we'll just stretch it nice and tight across the lap section. Then I just take it, overlap it under the seat, burnish it all down, and now we have our shoulder and lap belts. Now, the reason I leave this long piece of belt here is because on the Camaros, the seat belts were attached to the B-pillar where it meets the roof on the F-bodies, not just Camaros, Firebirds also. So that's what we're going to try and do as we install the interior into it. We're going to try and connect these two pieces of the seat belt to the roof of the car to give it the look as if it's going into the retractor in the roof of the car. So now we have our seat belts set up. Now we have to make a buckle. Now to make the buckle, it's a very simple piece. Cut a small piece of sheet styrene, painted it black, and then at the end I have the red for the button to release the seatbelt, and that's our entire seatbelt buckle. And then we just lay it here where, I don't know if I can show you this. Let me see if I can get this thing to focus. We're going to lay it right there where the seat belt attaches to the seat, and this will give us a look of a buckle that the seat belt's going into, or at least I hope it does. So I'm going to take that. Now we just need to trim it down. If we can find a hobby knife, here it is. First rule of cutting very small parts, make sure they don't go flying. And here's our other half to make the other buckle. Okay, so now it's a simple matter of just gluing the buckle to the seat to give us our look of a seat belt buckle. Hopefully this will work and look convincing enough. Because I would like to finish this group build on time, but I keep distracting myself with these things. I think that's going to work perfectly. So, what I'm going to do is put a drop of super glue here. Using our trusty toothpick. And put a drop of super glue right here. I would try to be as neat as possible, but it doesn't really matter because you'll never see this once the seat's installed in the car. Then we'll take our seatbelt buckle and we'll install it right here in the seat. And it looks like we got lucky and it fell right where we needed it to. And here we go, guys. Don't know if I did that all on camera. I don't think I did, but here we have our seatbelt. Whoa! And our seat go flying out of our hands. There's our buckle and our seatbelt, which I think looks much better than not having one at all. Now we'll just have to make sure that it fits in here with the buckle installed, because there is a little bit of a premium on space here. It's a little tight, but it is in. There we go, guys. Let's move the seat a little forward. And there we go. Our seat belt with our buckle assembly, which you can actually really see looks nice. And I think that's going to work. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put the other one together. And then we'll be back for the finish of the... Okay, guys, now we have the completely finished interior. As you can see, both seat belts and buckles are in the front seat now. And it came out pretty decent for something I just kind of threw together because I needed to see seatbelts in the car to match the seatbelts that are in the rear. I wasn't really crazy about the fact that there were no seatbelts in the rear. I mean, in the front. For all intents and purposes, this is a really nice interior, really nicely detailed kit. For 1/32 scale, they really did a beautiful job with it. I mean, it is just about a match for the Revell 1/24 scale kit. Now, as you can see, I also put the Bondic on the clock that's in the center console that apparently came on these cars in 1982. I used a little panel line paint on the center console so you can add a little shadowing, so you can see a little more of the definition of the shapes that are there. And overall, I think this interior came out really, really nicely. I'm very happy with it. Going along with the tradition of the chrome builds. And I'm really thrilled with it. Except for the fact that I just realized I forgot to paint the Z28 emblem on the dash. Now, can we still get in there and do that? It's going to be kind of tough, but you know me, I'm going to have to try. So, there we go, guys. The whole interior done. Now, I'm going to leave it at that for now. We're going to end this video. And I guess I'll see you on the next update for the small scale group build hosted by BG and Sean at the Scale Model Car Guy channel. Really liking these tiny little cars. Hope I have time to do the other ones. Alright, guys. I'll see you on the next one.